copy and paste it for Friday. Hot, humid, and a few afternoon storms. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Get ready, baseball fans. The Harbor Hippos are here to make a splash this summer. Catch the action starting May 30th at Huntersville Athletic Park. Season, group, or single tickets are now available. Head over to www.harborhippos.com to get your tickets and gear today. Don't miss out.
Are you juggling life and caregiving? Call Equity Health Primary Care. Their team of nurse practitioners and therapists deliver exceptional care in clinic, at home, or virtually. Services are designed for comfort and convenience. High-quality care anywhere. Visit equityhealthcares.com.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
Hello and welcome to Dollars and Cents presented by North Main Financial. I'm your host, Joshua Dobi. Thank you so much for hanging with us here, 4 o'clock hour on a Thursday. If you're a 9 to 5er, you've got 53 minutes and 20 seconds until you get to that 5 o'clock bell, and I appreciate so much you spending that time here with us as we talk on all things economic and financial here on Dollars and Cents. And when we're doing so, we're going to be touching on a lot of subjects today. We got some geopolitical things sitting out there. We're going to be talking about that here a little bit. Certainly going to be talking about companies, going to bring some things to know or that we think might be helpful for you to know. But in doing so, even though we're going to be talking about specific investments, maybe even planning styles, but certainly companies, maybe in a favorable light, maybe in a not so favorable light, that in doing so, you remember, again, as a previous listener to Dollars and Cents, that nothing that we're talking about here is intended as a specific recommendation for you, meaning that even as we're talking about these things, we're not doing so in ways which are speaking directly to your circumstance, because frankly, we don't know them. And it would be very inappropriate for us to say that one certain thing is good for everybody because everybody's situation is unique. We strongly, strongly recommend that you reach out to your tax advisor, to your financial advisor, or if you'd like to reach out to us at North Main Financial Group, love to hear from you. Love to chat about your particular financial situation, see if there are ways in which we might be able to be helpful to you. Online, you can find us at northmainfinancial.com. That's north like the direction, Main like the street. Financial.com, northmainfinancial.com. We have a contact page on there. Leave us an email address, a phone number. Let us know the most preferred and desirable ways for us to contact you. I kind of have to interrupt that. When I say leave a phone number, I know a lot of folks, like, they don't make phone calls anymore. They just do text messages. I get it. People are busy, and that's so just make sure you give us the right phone number. Let us know if you want a text message instead of a phone call. We'll make sure we utilize that as well. Again, at northmainfinancial.com. You're also welcome to call us here in the studio. Producer Reese, take your call. Can't promise I'm going to get to your particular subject here during today's show, but if I don't, I'll make sure I include it in next week's show. 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464 here in the studio. That's 844-788-3464 here in the studio. If you'd like for us to talk on a particular subject, I'm not your hot stock tip guy. I'll tell you that. I tell you that almost every week. So don't be calling in here asking for what's the hot one to buy or the hot one or the wrong one that I need to sell or anything like that. Can't do anything like that. But certainly can speak to more broad-based, general kinds of things, certainly things that are hitting your headlines. And we've got several of them here today. Let me start with one, and it involves a particular company, and this is not me being at all insensitive to the tragedy of relative to the news reports we're receiving out of India with regards to the Air India flight, which has crashed. And it appears that most of the folks who were on board, including some folks on the ground, have indeed perished. And so in saying that, relative to what I'm going to say next, it just really is a very quick point of commentary because it obviously is a very, very tragic situation. But there are a lot of eyes because of the challenges that Boeing has had. And it was a Boeing jet that went down because of the challenges that Boeing has had in some of its more recent history here about whether there were some things with regards to the machine itself, the engines, was it pilot error? No way to know at this point. We're still very, very early, but it is definitely on our radar screen so that hopefully the knowledge that is gained from this tragedy can help to prevent future kinds of tragedies like this. But certainly our hearts are with those who have lost loved ones and done so in such tragic ways here today over in India. But definitely wanted to mention that. Also want to mention as we're pivoting here, and I'm pivoting a little bit. I know that's a little bit of a tough note to start on, but as it's happening in real time here, and we're just starting to receive some of the information about what happened and in some preliminary ways. Wanted to make sure to mention that. But definitely going to be watching Boeing. Hopefully it had nothing to do with the machine or the engines or the fuselage or anything along those lines relative to their most recent history. By the way, Boeing, publicly traded company, Bravo Alpha, BA is the ticker symbol there. All right, I'm going to pivot a little bit here, and I'm going to talk about something that hopefully is a little lighter in subject matter. But got to bring this up. This was in the Wall Street Journal this morning, and I'll admit very quickly in talking about this company that I am, let's say, less than up to date on current video game trends. Now, I'm looking at you, Producer Reese, see if you got any insight here. And that's not fair to Producer Reese. I'm looking at him because, well, let's say that Producer Reese is a fraction of my age, so that I'm hoping that he would be able to speak into this. But this one, it's actually been out there for a while in terms of news announcement, anticipation, a lot out there. And I'm looking at the company Nintendo. Now, for someone my age, Nintendo, I remember when Nintendo came out with their first video game console. I'm not going to tell you how many years ago that was. You may want to count in decades instead of years. It makes it a lot faster and using smaller numbers. But I remember when Nintendo came out with their first video game console several decades ago. And now they have come out with, now this is a handheld. So this is not the more traditional, the video game console. This is a handheld called the Switch 2. So we have the Switch, which again, the initial handheld console that they had just came out with Switch 2. And they are literally setting sales records with this Switch 2. I mean, it is astounding, the number. Now, they did a lot of marketing, did a lot of good campaigning on it. I think they did a very good job. Let me say it this way. If someone like me, relative to the kinds of things that I watch, is aware of what Nintendo's doing and coming out with a new handheld console, they're doing something right. Meaning they're touching a lot of marketing touch points. If someone like me has said, Producer Reese, what do you think about that? I mean, are you familiar? Have you used one?
I know it came out.
Okay.
I don't know much about it.
Yeah.
But I did see this one guy. He went to a GameStop, I think, to get it.
Yeah.
And they had sold out already.
Interesting.
So he
no
literally
kidding.
tore the store apart.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that's probably a little bit more of an aggressive response than we should have, because I mean, fair to say, if they don't have one right now, that you could probably find it somewhere else.
Later.
Yeah, I think you're probably going to get. I mean, I think Nintendo's pretty motivated to
just wait for the restock.
I think that probably can happen. So that's probably a little bit aggressive there, but certainly in terms of the demand, and that's really what I want to touch on for just a few moments here. By the way, Nintendo is a publicly traded company. However, they only trade, to my knowledge, on the Tokyo Stock Exchange. So not here in the U.S. To my understanding, they are only on the Tokyo Stock Exchange.
Nintendo? Wasn't it created in Japan?
Japanese company. That's exactly right. Yep. That's why they're traded there in Tokyo. But I'm not aware if that stock trades on any other exchanges. Very often you'll see, especially big international companies. Let me use easy ones. Apple. Apple's an easy target here. Obviously, they're very prolific and well known, traded all over the world. Certainly here on the New York Stock Exchange, but also on a number of other exchanges. I know they just happen to be traded on the Tokyo Stock Exchange. I do know that. So I don't think, though, that Nintendo is traded on other exchanges, to my knowledge. And so not a whole lot to share with them relative to the public aspect of things. But I find it interesting, the demand element. You know, in this day and age, and this is just a very quick personal reflection, opinion on how we consume entertainment. And yeah, I'm going to say, well, when I was young, I got to say that, right? I mean, everybody my age has to say that a little bit. But, you know, when I was younger, I mean, there weren't a whole lot of options, right? You had the television, basically. Now you have all these handheld devices. We have smartphones. We have these game consoles now. And now they're interactive. You connect to the internet. You can play. You can be competitive against somebody on the other side of the world. I mean, it is amazing, very interesting, dynamic even, to see how folks are doing that. So I'm going to continue to watch that. That's a very, very important part of who we are and how we do things, and so we'll be watching that. But first, before we watch that, we're going to take a word from our sponsors. Appreciate so much you hanging with us here on Dollars and Cents, presented by North Main Financial.
Make no mistake.
Did you say steak?
We'll be back to talk more finances and food on Dollars and Cents, presented by North Main Financial on WSIC. Local starts here.
Well, we're starting to fall back into that typical summertime weather pattern that's really going to hang around for a while. High temperatures back up around 90 this afternoon with a mix of clouds and sun, and getting a bit more humid too. We'll keep an eye out for a few of those isolated pop-up thunderstorms heading into this evening. Overnight, we'll drop back into the upper 60s near 70. Any storm activity that's out there should come to an end. We'll copy and paste it for Friday. Hot, humid, and a few afternoon storms. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The app with Lake Norman deals. The WSIC app is out now, wherever you get your apps.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. The 500 Club in Statesville presents live music with Breaking Point Band on Saturday at 6 p.m. On Sunday, it is birdies, beer, and burgers for Father's Day. Visit the 500 Club online for more information. Golfing and fun are at the 500 Club this weekend. The Cookout Summer Shootout Series is at Charlotte Motor Speedway for race number 3 on Tuesday, June 17th. Head to Gate 4 at the Speedway for their weekly promotion. Dress up in Western gear on June 17th and get $5 off admission pricing. Click on charlottemotorspeedway.com for more information. It's time to celebrate you on the Home Ad Show. Call in and tell us your birthday or anniversary, and we'll add your name to the daily prize wheel. Each day, someone wins a fun prize, but on Fridays, one lucky winner will be drawn for a very special prize, 2 tickets to the legendary Peebo Bryson live in concert. He is bringing his Golden Touch Tour to Mooresville this Saturday. Doors open at 5 p.m. Show starts at 6 p.m. at 161 South Magnolia Street. So if it's your special day or someone you love, call in and get your name on the wheel. This incredible night of soulful music is brought to you by the town of Mooresville. Don't miss your chance to see Peebo Bryson. The Exchange Club of Mooresville presents the annual Field of Flags, July 2nd through the 5th at Lowe's YMCA. The field commemorates our veterans, service members, and first responders. The summer celebration featuring a ceremony, a concert by area favorite Blue Monday, and fireworks will be held on July 3rd. Flags are on sale now. Visit MooresvilleLKNExchange.org to make your purchase. For more information about the Field of Flags and the summer celebration, July 3rd at Lowe's YMCA in Mooresville. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
From market trends to retirement plans, Joshua Dobi has you covered. We're back with more Dollars and Cents presented by North Main Financial on WSIC. Local starts here.
Hello and welcome back to Dollars and Cents presented by North Main Financial. I'm your host, Joshua Dobi. Thank you so much for hanging with us here. Second quarter of today's show, Football Reference. You know us on this show. I mean, if you listen to about, I don't know, maybe 1.5 episodes of Dollars and Cents here, you know we try to bring in some anecdotal things as well. I mean, we talk finances. We do that. That's what we do. That's what we do professionally. Definitely important for us to talk about that, and certainly that's one of the primary reasons why you're listening in. But we also talk about other things that begin with the letter F. And before you get too carried away on me here, we talk, especially with all of our let's say close innuendo that we make about it. We talk football, and that's why we say each segment here is a quarter. We've got 4 quarters in each show. Second quarter, need to remind you that the kickoff for the NFL season now, and we have the clock here. I mean, producer Reese is so good about this. He's got the official clock directly from the NFL, letting me know exactly, as we get into the second quarter segment, exactly how much time is left. And if you're wondering, 83 days, 7 hours, 40 minutes, 50 seconds until we get to the kickoff for the NFL season. I'm sure relative to the college football season, because I follow that as well, it's probably not too far away from that either, maybe even a little bit earlier as those things go. So, and I'd also like to remind folks, because we do this every week, especially during the off season, it kind of become one of our call signs here, that it remains true for yet another week that our Carolina Panthers are in exactly the same position as all the other 31 teams in the NFL to win the Super Bowl.
Yes.
So, still the same probability. Everybody's 0-0. No bonus points. No, I want to hear it from anybody. I want to hear about, this team, that draft picks. No, 0-0. Everybody's got to lace them up.
Hopefully our draft picks do some good this year.
I'm hoping so as well. I mean, hope springs eternal. I mean, that's when, and like I said, we've ridden the bus this long. We are not getting off the bus at this point. Anyhow, thank you so much for hanging with us here. And we were talking about, just before we went to break there, and I'm going to bring a segue in here, actually. This will actually be able to be tied together. We were talking about Nintendo. We were talking about this handheld, the Switch 2. And I mean, a handheld device that is a game console, a video game console, and just the record sales that they're having with them. It just has exploded out of the gate from a sales standpoint. And again, as I mentioned, their marketing was excellent. If it got to somebody like me who is not looking at video game things at all, then they're obviously quite pervasive, or have been quite pervasive in their marketing. Even I knew that that this kind of stuff was coming out, and the sales are showing that. Obviously, they did a very good job of marketing it. But the real reason why I'm going to bring the segue in here is thinking about all things video game related and football related, is talking about probably. I'd be hard pressed to think of another video game, and again, I'm whatever is an expert on. I'm not an expert, excuse me. So I'm definitely not an expert. I am something else other than that when it comes to video games. However, when we're talking about Madden, right? So John Madden, the now deceased John Madden, was a football coach and actually was a player, then a football coach for a number of years, and he was a broadcaster, probably how he was most well known to the largest number of people. Broadcaster for years, and he was fun in the booth. You heard John Madden broadcast the game. I mean, he had all his own sayings. It was fun to listen to him. They actually, in collaboration with Activision Blizzard, which by the way is a publicly traded company, ACTI, not a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold the stock or the bonds on that, but got into collaboration and came out with the Madden series. And now they just attach there's a new iteration each year, new players, I'm sure new functionality each year. So Madden 25 is going to be out there. And I mean, it's a great concept in terms of literally reinventing the market every single year, right? Because you have new players on it. Obviously, there are new draft picks. There are new players that are doing well. And so to update all of those players, because they literally do make them in conjunction with particular players in the NFL, you literally can resell the game every single year, as opposed to the Pac-Man that I may or may not still have from, say, 1984. Don't laugh, producer Reese.
I love Pac-Man.
Come on now. I mean, I haven't had to buy a new iteration of Pac-Man, even though I know there is a probably several at this point, new iterations of Pac-Man.
Hey,
with Madden though, you got to get it every year. Go ahead.
I love Pac-Man.
See, and that's I love that about you, producer Reese. Yeah. Seriously, I mean, it's a very simple, right? Yeah. But it's a very easily understood kind of game.
You know what one of my favorites is though?
I'm ready
Donkey
for it.
Kong.
I love Donkey Kong. I'm right there with you. And again, I get the graphics look like it's something from the Stone Age, but man, is it cool. I mean, it just really is that.
And it's hard too. That's
it
not
is
an easy
hard.
Game to clear.
Well, and what's also true about those games is, we didn't have the, let me say, the multi-functioning video game consoles that you have today. Yeah, we had a joystick and one button.
All you had to do was
the
joystick
and
then hit jump.
And hit. I mean, it was just the one orange button in the upper left-hand corner, right? I mean, there was nothing else. There was none of this, trickery of being able to, code things and No, I mean, you moved up, down, left, and right, and press the orange button when you wanted to jump. That was it. But it was kind of fun. At least for people like me, it was kind of fun. So interesting. I think it's also true. And again, we talked about consumers, how they consume entertainment, things. I think it's also true that video games in this style of format continue to be so incredibly popular. And certainly they are, whether we're talking about, the more sports related kinds of things we're talking about here with Madden, certainly the handheld style of games that are on the Switch 2 game console. But I'm thinking about things like Call of Duty and just how incredibly popular that almost real-time simulation is, how you can play with other players in real time. I mean, it really is amazing. I mean, just how real to life some of these games have been. So anyhow, and there are several others out there as well, but just very, very interesting on that kind of thing. And the demand for it. I think that's the other part that I think is just the demand element that continues to be there. And it's, these companies, I mean, it's tough. I can't imagine being at these companies. How do you think up the next thing? What the thing that is going to be so attractive? I mean, with Madden, I kind of get it because you got new players every year. So you tweak it a little bit, you make the players a little bit more real. Maybe you do a couple additional touchdown dances.
I think for some of these, some of these games, like we'll put aside Madden for a second. I mean, you got some time to think about it.
Right.
You release a game and then you probably have 2 years or something to think about the next best thing or whatever.
Yeah,
that's probably what I'm thinking.
That's a great point. Madden's really the exception, not the rule. I mean, usually you have some measure of break in between the particular iterations. I know that's true for Call of Duty and Gosh, there's another one with cars, and I forgot it. But that comes out with some regularity as well. But there's no doubt about that. There is a little bit of a break. So you got multi-level brainstorming.
Yeah, you just got time to think.
Yeah, to be able to figure that out. Still brutal. Man, I'm glad I don't have to be the one that has to do that. All right, let's keep going here. Talking companies, and I certainly got to bring up this one. This company, obviously very, very popular in terms of its owner. You hear us talk about them periodically, mostly because of how much they're in the news. But I think this is also, I know they talk about this on, I've talked about it a couple of times on Good Morning LKN, which, by the way, if you haven't been listening to them, Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., it's the morning show. Good Morning LKN, Justin, Bill, and Mamie. I mean, you got to get on there because they have a whole bunch of stuff to share with you. And plus, they're going to make you chuckle, too. And I kind of like that. I like that any time of the day, but especially that time of the day as I'm getting going. And don't tell me that you're not in the signal range or anything like that. Get that WSIC app. Go on the Google store. Go on the Android store. I say Google store, bless. Android store or Apple store. Get on there. Download the WSIC app. You know what's great about it? You crack that thing open. You just hit the button on there. And there's a big button. As soon as you open the app, there's a big button. All you got to do is
it's a huge button.
It is. I mean, if it's dummy proof for me, I promise you that 100% of the people listening to the broadcast right now would be no problem for anything they're doing. So download that app. No matter where you are, as long as you have a cell signal, you can always listen. And not only that, but you got all the recordings on there as well. So if you miss something, you can go back on there. It's great. So anyhow, on Good Morning LKN, I know they've been talking about this, and I'm bringing up this company, publicly traded company. Tesla. Don't have to tell you who the founder is. You know who it is. Ticker symbol Tom Sam, Larry Alpha, TSLA. Not a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold the debt or the equity of Tesla. They announced, and this was somewhat surprising. Not surprising because of who the founder and CEO is, but I thought this was surprising because so Google is developing Waymo. With Google, by the way, publicly traded company, GOOG on the C share end of things, GOOGL on the A share end of things. Not a recommendation. Buy, sell, or hold that stock or debt either. They're driverless car. So let's call them. I think that's probably the easiest way to do it. So driverless car is Waymo essentially, and specifically on the taxi side of things is Waymo. Now Tesla is coming out and saying on their robo-taxi, basically their driverless taxi as well, they're going to be launching later this month. Now, sometimes Elon Musk he gets a little ambitious, and I don't know if there was just a whole lot of wailing and gnashing of teeth by the engineers at Tesla when he said that. I mean, I know they're moving along. I know that they are definitely at high speed development on that end of things. I just wonder how pervasive it's going to be. I mean, in certain cities, with relatively short runs or straight runs, I get it. But how pervasive is it going to be across the country? I don't know. And it may be something that just has to evolve over the years, but it's going to be very interesting to watch that kind of thing because I would be, let me ask you this, Producer Reese. Would you jump in a driverless taxi? Like if you were, let's say you were in downtown Charlotte, right? And you're at the Spectrum Center and you're wanting to head over to Bank of America. That's not a good example. You could walk that going from Spectrum Center to Bank of America. But let's say you're going to South Park Mall. All right. So you're at Bank of America going, would you get in a driverless taxi?
Well, it's just the same thing with the driverless car.
That's true. Same, very similar.
I would personally not put my hands or put my life
right
in the hands of a computer. I just wouldn't do it.
It's a great point.
Like that's a big risk, if you ask me.
It's a big place to jump. There's no doubt about it. It's a big place to jump. So when we're talking about that guy, and that's why I wonder how quickly the integration is going to come. I wonder if it's going to be the kind of thing that's going to be integrated very quickly here, but we'll kind of have to wait and see.
Like I love Tesla.
Yeah. I know.
I like the cars.
Cutting edge.
I just wouldn't put my life in the hands of a computer.
We'll talk more about it here as we come back from break. Thank you so much for hanging with us here on Dollars and Cents. Back in a moment on WSIC.
Make no mistake.
Did you say steak?
We'll be back to talk more finances and food on Dollars and Cents, presented by North Main Financial on WSIC. Local starts here.
Well, we're starting to fall back into that typical summertime weather pattern that's really going to hang around for a while. High temperatures back up around 90 this afternoon with a mix of clouds and sun and getting a bit more humid too. We'll keep an eye out for a few of those isolated pop-up thunderstorms heading into this evening. Overnight, we'll drop back into the upper 60s near 70. Any storm activity that's out there should come to an end. But we'll copy and paste it for Friday. Hot, humid, and a few afternoon storms. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Is your AC ready for summer? Don't wait for a breakdown on the hottest day of the year. Call Horn Heating and Air Conditioning for a seasonal tune-up today. Welcome home to the feeling of Visit hornhvac.com.
This is Sheriff Darren Campbell with the Iredell County Sheriff's Office. Every day, scammers are targeting people right here in our community through phone calls, emails, and text messages, trying to steal your money, your personal information, and even your identity. If someone calls claiming to be from a government, a bank, or even law enforcement demanding money or personal details, stop and think. Legitimate organizations will never ask for gift cards, wire transfers, or your passwords over the phone or email. If something sounds too good to be true, it usually is. Hang up, don't click that link, and never share personal information with someone you don't trust. At the Iredell County Sheriff's Office, we're working to protect our community, and we're proud to partner with WSIC because local starts here, and keeping you informed keeps you safe. Stay alert, stay smart, and don't fall for a scam.
Hi, this is Bob McIntosh with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Since 1997, we have been committed to providing our clients with competent, caring, and experienced legal services. Learn more at McIntoshLawFirm.com.
Have you taken the DESCO Challenge? DESCO is where the professional goes for electrical supplies.
My name is Ashley. I just redid the lighting in my home, and the customer experience at DESCO was second to none.
See for yourself at DESCOInc.com.
Lowry Drug is a source for excellent pharmacy services. We have served the Statesville community since 1959. We have attentive customer service, a state-of-the-art compounding laboratory, and the Dispill medication packaging system that takes the work out of medication management for those using medication planners. We do it for you. Come see us at Lowry Drug in Statesville. Call 704-873-2247. Come see us.
Opening doors to your future. Literally. Buying, selling, or building your portfolio? Put the team at Centralina Realty to work for you. We're in the center of North Carolina and at the center of your journey. CentralinaRealty.com.
Prioritizing your health is one of the best ways to take care of yourself. From routine visits to the joys of pregnancy to the illnesses that stop you in your tracks. Iredell Health System will be by your side. Learn more at IredellHealth.org.
Exciting news at Randy Marion Ford Lincoln in Statesville. We have opened a separate used car department. That's right, we have over 300 pre-owned vehicles on Folger Drive. That's right across the interstate from the main lot. I tell you, better to serve you with higher quality, higher quantity, king of price deals on pre-owned vehicle. Come see us today at our new location, 1011 Folger Drive, right across the interstate from the main showroom. You can't miss us. And as always, king of price, king of deals, you can't beat Randy Marion in Statesville.
Smile like you mean it. At Clear Smile, we use the most advanced orthodontic technology in the world. The Light Force Braces system has been proven to be more accurate and faster than stock metal braces. Located in Birkdale Landing, book a free consultation online at clearsmilecharlotte.com.
The button pushing stops here.
WSIC. Local starts here.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Artificial intelligence is making its way into toy production. Mattel, the maker of Barbie dolls and Hot Wheels cars, says it has signed a deal with OpenAI to use its AI tools to design and power toys and products, with the first release later this year. The love has faded for Lovesac's partnership with Best Buy. The furniture retailer says it plans to wind down the Best Buy shop-in-shop locations by the third quarter of fiscal 2026. Lovesac says inflation, high interest rates, tariffs, and a weak housing market are all having a negative impact on its business. While one partnership may be fading, Dick's Sporting Goods is creating a new one with Uber. Today, Dick's announced it will offer a broad selection of products that can be ordered on Uber Eats for quick delivery. Heading toward the close, stocks are up between 0.1% and 0.3%. I'm Nancy Lyons, Bloomberg Radio.
The number one station for people who say we're their favorite station.
WSIC.
From market trends to retirement plans, Joshua Dobi has you covered. We're back with more Dollars and Cents presented by North Main Financial on WSIC. Local starts here.
Hello and welcome back to Dollars and Cents presented by North Main Financial. I'm your host, Joshua Dobi. Thank you so much for hanging with us here. Second half of today's show, Football Reference. You got 24 minutes and 10 seconds until we get there to the end of the hour here if you're a 9-to-5er, and I appreciate you spending that time with us here. And we were talking about just all things relative to the gaming end of things there a couple of points ago, talking about the gaming aspect of things. Again, I find it amazing that continues to be as popular. Obviously not the same games. We were having some fun talking Pac-Man and Donkey Kong. I got to bring up Frogger as well. I mean, Frogger, arguably one of the most popular video games of all time. And I know there are probably a number of you just shaking your heads because you realize how old I am when I'm saying that kind of stuff. But I find it interesting that continues to be a way of consuming entertainment, and that folks are willing to pay for it. And these are not cheap kinds of things either. I mean, we're talking about hundreds and $8,000 of dollars to acquire these kinds of things. And plus, like we're talking about with Madden, you got to buy the game every year. It's not like it's something you're holding on to.
And it's not cheap either.
No, not at all.
The game itself is not.
Well, and for a number of these, they're doing it on more subscription style models where you pay so much on a monthly or annual basis for updates and for other maybe nuances in the game itself that you can access and things like that. I mean,
like add-ons and stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's a whole nother revenue source for these kinds of things. All right, let's pivot a little bit here. We're going to talk about another one of our favorite subjects that begins with the letter F. Don't get carried away on me here. We're talking food, and this one was big, and I say. When I saw this, so I saw this a couple of days ago. It's been rumored for a while, but when I saw this a couple of days ago, still was surprising to me, and I think in part because of how hyper-local it is. I mean, this company was born and bred here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and they make one of my favorite foods on the planet, and that is fried chicken. And I'm talking, so you may think, okay, which one? Yep. So now, Bojangles. Bojangles looks like it's going to be sold. Now, let's just have some clarity. Bojangles has been bought and sold a couple of times now.
Okay.
So the original founders long gone. They were a public company for a while, and then two private equity firms took them over in 2019. I'm going from a rusty memory there. Check me on that. If that may not be the exact day, but right around 2019, that they were acquired by two private equity firms and took them private, meaning that they delisted the stock, so it's no longer publicly traded. Can't buy Bojangles stock right now. But the word that's on the street, and this was in the Wall Street Journal as well, I thought that was interesting to see it in the Wall Street Journal also. But the word on the street, kind of the rumor mill a little bit, if you will. But these two equity firms are looking to sell Bojangles, and what's even more amazing is they're looking to sell it for 3 times what they paid for it in about 6 years ago.
Eesh.
Now that's some return on investment. I don't care who you are. I mean, that is holy smokes. Now I'm not saying they're going to get it. Don't know what it's going to be yet, but wow, if they can get anything close to that for sure. Yeah. So, I mean, again, Bojangles, I mean, near and dear to my heart. I've said that any number of times on this show that I could very easily eat Bojangles every day of my life. No, I mean, not.
I know some people who would say the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, and it wouldn't be a struggle. It wouldn't be like, oh, I got to eat Bojangles again. It would be like, this is the best part of my day. It truly would be. That Bo box, those Bo rounds. I mean, I could just go down the list.
I got a question for you.
Bo-berry biscuits. I could just keep doing this. I mean, I love that stuff.
Could you eat McDonald's every day?
See, interesting question, Producer Reese, and this is going to speak maybe to my palate a little bit. I don't think so.
I think just that's the variety.
Okay.
From Bojangles compared to McDonald's, Bojangles probably has more of a variety of different things.
There would probably be arguments on both sides. I know some folks who are very passionate about McDonald's as well. By the way, McDonald's publicly traded company, Mary Charlie Daniel, not a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold that stock or debt.
I do like McDonald's.
I mean, I'm in the same boat. I mean, give me a quarter pounder or a Big Mac. I mean, let's go. And so yeah, but I as I'm sitting here, I have this in my mind, probably not true. I mean, it's probably just pure foolishness and silliness, but I do have in my mind that I could eat Bojangles fried chicken every day. I don't have the same inkling that I would desire that from McDonald's. That's interesting to me.
Something I really like from there is, I think it was a breakfast item, the Cajun chicken sandwich.
Cajun chicken and biscuit. Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's what it was.
You're singing about music.
That was great.
I mean, it is. It's spectacular. Now, let's just have some clarity here. And if you are the one of the 4 people currently listening to this show who does not like Bojangles, we'll have to provide some clarity. So Bojangles in the fried chicken business and biscuit business as well. So chicken and biscuits primarily, but they have some breakfast iterations. They got some sausage. They got some country fried steak on the breakfast sandwiches. But they are fried chicken and biscuits.
We got up in the morning.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend and I went to Bojangles.
Yeah.
And she said, we're going to get 2 of the Cajun chicken.
What a great way to start your day. Sunrise.
And I was like,
yeah.
And I don't really go to Bojangles that often. So
Producer Reese, you can't say that. You can't. You have to say that that's something that you do frequently.
Okay.
Come on.
That's something I do frequently, everyone. But I said, I don't know if I'm going to like it.
Uh-oh.
And she said, just try it.
Bingo.
And the first bite, I was like, oh, my.
Yeah. See what you've been missing out on? I know it. It's melting your mouth good. So anyhow, kind of interesting. Again, a lot of press around the country really on this. But the valuation in 2019 or so on Bojangles was right around $500 million. The advertised price, or at least what the float price is out there in the rumor mill right now, is they're looking to sell it for $1.5 billion. I mean that's why you have private equity firms, no doubt about it. I mean they're going to make their investors a lot.
You
of money.
said 1.5 billion with a B.
1.5 billion with a B. Yeah, that's a lot of fried chicken and fixins. I mean, and fixins too. You know, and it's just sidebar again. One of the things that the Bo box, right? I mean, I know I could talk Bojangles all day, but that's just part of my crazy.
It's Bo time, everyone.
I mean, exactly. And then they have the chicken squawk, you know, on all their commercials. You know, I mean, that just it is. It's really great stuff. So I would like to say that I am not going to be buying it, not because I don't want to, but that $1.5 billion price tag is a little steep for me.
Yeah.
So
I'll have to wait a couple of years to buy that.
Exactly. I'm going to have to make some better investments along the way before I look to buy that. But then I will say to whomever that the owner is, don't mess with a good thing. Let's just, and I know there are going to be some people out there say, well, I used to go to this Bojangles location and now it's terrible. I get it. Not saying anybody's perfect. I'm talking about the perfection of fried chicken. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Please keep the quality.
That's right. Just keep the fried chicken, keep the biscuits, keep the Bo rounds, keep the Bo berry biscuits, keep all that good stuff, and I'll be happy. I'm a very simple person.
You got to keep the things that everyone goes there for.
I would think so, right?
And I think the Bo berry biscuit is one of those.
I would agree. Now, I think it's interesting. Then I promise I'll stop talking Bojangles here for all of you who are getting sick of this. But I think it's interesting. If they're selling it for 3 times the price of the valuation here from just 6 years ago, the numbers must be good. And I say that because private company, we can't get a very good feel on the numbers to any high level, but the numbers meaning sales must be pretty good if that's the case. To your point,
that's what it's got to mean.
To your point about what folks actually like to have, the numbers have to be pretty good to even seriously offer it up for 3 times what they paid for it here just several years ago. So I'll be very interested to see who the buyer is. Will it be another private equity firm? Wouldn't surprise me if that's the case. I would be surprised if it's another food firm or even another restaurant operator. I would be very surprised at that. I would be if I was guessing. I would say probably another private equity firm, somebody who's going to look to expand them a little bit, perhaps even to maybe do different offerings. But again, just a word of advice to whoever that buyer may be: don't mess up a good thing. I mean, sweet tea, Bojangles fried chicken, Bojangles biscuits. I don't know where you go after that. That just might be nirvana. I mean, that maybe, and an ice cream cone. That probably wouldn't be a bad thing either. Anyhow, thanks for hanging with us here. Going to hear from our sponsors back in a moment here on Dollars and Cents, presented by North Main Financial on WSIC.
Make no mistake.
Did you say steak?
We'll be back to talk more finances and food on Dollars and Cents, presented by North Main Financial on WSIC. Local starts here.
Well, we're starting to fall back into that typical summertime weather pattern that's really going to hang around for a while. High temperatures back up around 90 this afternoon with a mix of clouds and sun and getting a bit more humid too. We'll keep an eye out for a few of those isolated pop-up thunderstorms heading into this evening. Overnight, we'll drop back into the upper 60s near 70. Any storm activity that's out there should come to an end. We'll copy and paste it for Friday. Hot, humid, and a few afternoon storms. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. The 500 Club in Statesville presents live music with Breaking Point Band on Saturday at 6 p.m. On Sunday, it is birdies, beer, and burgers for Father's Day. Visit the 500 Club online for more information. Golfing and fun are at the 500 Club this weekend. The Cookout Summer Shootout Series is at Charlotte Motor Speedway for race number 3 on Tuesday, June 17th. Head to Gate 4 at the Speedway for their weekly promotion. Dress up in Western gear on June 17th and get $5 off admission pricing. Click on charlottemotorspeedway.com for more information. It's time to celebrate you on the Home Ad Show. Call in and tell us your birthday or anniversary, and we'll add your name to the daily prize wheel. Each day, someone wins a fun prize, but on Fridays, one lucky winner will be drawn for a very special prize, 2 tickets to the legendary Peebo Bryson live in concert. He is bringing his Golden Touch Tour to Mooresville this Saturday. Doors open at 5 p.m. Show starts at 6 p.m. at 161 South Magnolia Street. So if it's your special day or someone you love, call in and get your name on the wheel. This incredible night of soulful music is brought to you by the town of Mooresville. Don't miss your chance to see Peebo Bryson. The Exchange Club of Mooresville presents the annual Field of Flags, July 2nd through the 5th at Lowe's YMCA. The field commemorates our veterans, service members, and first responders. The summer celebration featuring a ceremony, a concert by area favorite Blue Monday, and fireworks will be held on July 3rd. Flags are on sale now. Visit MooresvilleLKNExchange.org to make your purchase. For more information about the Field of Flags and the summer celebration, July 3rd at Lowe's YMCA in Mooresville. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
From market trends to retirement plans, Joshua Dobi has you covered. We're back with more Dollars and Cents presented by North Main Financial on WSIC. Local starts here.
Hello and welcome back to Dollars and Cents presented by North Main Financial. I'm your host, Joshua Dobi. Thank you so much for hanging with us here. Fourth quarter of today's show. You got 11 minutes, 55 seconds until you hit the finish line here if you're a 9-to-5er. I appreciate you spending that time here with us. Right before we went to break, and I promise I'm not going to take the whole segment talking about Bojangles again. But I mean, local company, right? And it's going to be sold. I mean, there's going to be an impact point. I mean, whether they close locations, open locations. Producer Reese and I were talking during the break. You know what the new buyers may or may not do. They're going to do something. I mean, they're paying. Whoever it's going to be, they're paying up for it, and so they got to expand the menu, increase the locations. Who knows?
Yeah, whoever buys it, they got a plan to do something.
You know they do, right? You know, and they know how to do it. I mean, it's very likely going to be a seasoned owner, somebody who knows the quick serve restaurant business, and so it's very likely going to be the case. But that's why I'm kind of thinking it might be another private equity firm as opposed to maybe like another food operator. I don't see that so much as a possibility, but anything's possible. I mean, anything is possible. So it'll be interesting to see. But definitely some local flavor there when we're talking about Bojangles. But I am going to talk for just a few moments more because this was also in the data about how popular chicken overall is in the quick serve restaurant business. I mean, what's interesting to me. We'll use McDonald's. We were talking about McDonald's just briefly there in the last segment. When you have a restaurant like McDonald's, which McDonald's ubiquitous, right? I mean, my gosh, I mean they are the most pervasive quick serve restaurant entity on the planet. They have chicken options, and you think about it. I mean, when I think of McDonald's, I don't usually think of chicken options. Obviously, I think of hamburgers, right? That's kind of how that's how they were built. But they have several different chicken options.
Now that's the thing.
Yeah.
So people, if you're listening to this show, they might attack me for it.
Oh no attacking.
But when I go to McDonald's, I always get the chicken nuggets.
See, interesting. Say that, but I think that's a great point.
Most people would get like a Big Mac or something.
Right, I think so.
But I get the chicken nugget.
But they don't just have chicken nuggets. I mean, we talked a couple of weeks
Chicken
ago
strips
coming
now.
out the chicken strips, right? So they're gonna have the chicken strips there. They have the fried chicken sandwich. They have the grilled chicken sandwich. I mean, they have a number of different chicken options.
Do they have the fish fillet still?
I believe they do, but that's the only thing. Just the square fish fillet. That's all. That's the only fish option that they have there. So I just think it's interesting, and I'm using them as an example of a much larger idea. And I think that's one of the reasons why Bojangles is the owners are putting it up for sale. We the people just love chicken options at our quick serve restaurants.
Who doesn't like chicken overall, right?
I think we do. I think it's just and it's a growth area as well. I mean, have you been to Chick-fil-A recently? Or if you haven't been there, have you driven by and just looking at the line that's there? And those folks might be the most preeminent logistics experts in the history of the human race, meaning they put more people through those lines faster with a quality product, my opinion, on the other end of things than anything. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, you get in that line, you're like, oh, man, I'm 15 cars ahead of me. No, not going to matter. They're going to motor you through there.
There's something pretty interesting about Chick-fil-A, and you might know about this. And really what they did was genius.
Okay.
So if you go onto the mobile app, you can.
Yes.
Have you heard about mobile through?
I was just going to say the two lanes. Yes.
Just scan the barcode or the QR code.
Yes.
And then you're done.
It's amazing. I mean,
that's brilliant.
It is brilliant. The first QSR that I know that did that, and the first time I saw it, they've had it for a while, I know, but the first time that I saw that, I thought that's remarkable. Yeah. Because first of all, you're pushing folks to the app, which I know is a lower cost way of getting folks ordered and fulfilling orders.
But think about how much faster it is.
That's exactly what I was going to say, which everybody wants to get through there faster.
Especially when you're up at the window.
Bingo. You just zoom right through.
So whoever made that.
I know. When I say that they're the logistics experts of the planet, they might be. I mean, they come up with stuff like that. They must have just an amazing brain trust over there coming up with those kinds of ideas.
Honestly, there's been a few mornings where I thought I was going to be late for work, and then I remembered I had mobile through in my life, and I wasn't late.
See, how about that? See, it's beneficial on so many levels. Yeah. Anyhow. All right, we better move on here because we've been talking fried chicken here for quite a while, and you can obviously tell how much we like talking food. Well, we'll pivot a little bit. Fourth quarter here as we're in dollars and cents and talking about markets, things happening around us, and we talked a couple of companies. We talked a little bit about whether we're talking about what's happening with the video game end of things, whether we're talking about the unfortunate aspects on Boeing and certainly the tragedy overseas. Let's talk a couple of companies, and then we'll wrap with talking about the markets overall. I'm looking at Lululemon, and Lululemon, publicly traded company, athleisure is their focus, meaning this crossover kind of apparel where you wear it to go work out, but you can also wear it for, let's call it more casual wear kinds of things. Ticker symbol, very appropriately, Larry Umbrella, Lulu. Not a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold the debt or the equity. Boy, the stock took a hammer. Holy smokes, down 20% as they announced a significant reduction in their balance of the year, both top line and bottom line expectations, meaning top line revenue, bottom line margin for the balance of the year. Stock really took it on the head. They pointed to a couple of different things. They pointed to tariffs pretty significantly, which I thought was interesting. Not saying that they don't have tariff exposure, but they really focused on that just relative to the 10Q that was out there. There was some speculation, though, from some of the folks who track Lululemon very, very closely, and this is public. This is not, you don't have to search very hard to find it, that really, yes, tariffs are an impact, but really what Lululemon is experiencing is a significant increase in competition. And I thought that was a very interesting point. Then I thought about folks that I know, probably specifically in my family, but other folks that I know. Lululemon seemed like for a while that they were just omnipresent in the athleisure end of things. They were it, right? If you wanted to buy certain athleisure style apparel, Lululemon was your go-to. Now, even I know, and I don't know anything about this kind of stuff, frankly, outside of studying the companies themselves, but with regards to the apparel aspect of things, even I know 4, 5, 6, maybe 8 significant competitors out there. So that when I'm seeing the labels and what folks are buying and where they're buying it, yeah, it's a divided market now.
I remember the moment.
Yeah.
Or not the moment, but I remember the time where Lululemon was the go-to.
It was.
Pretty much
they owned
a lot of things.
Yeah, they owned it. I mean, and it was again, I know just relative to the stock price at that time, it was a very, very good time, very heady time for them in that kind of space. Now, which happens practically in every industry. I mean, without exception. I'd say practically every, not almost every, not everyone. But certainly in this end of things, that you're going to get some competition. You're going to get some well-funded competition.
Eventually, there's just going to be someone who outsmarts you.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, or they're going to be the new thing, right? They're going to be the new shiny thing. I think that's one of the reasons why I have such great respect for, say, a McDonald's or a Coca-Cola or a Pepsi. That those brands have remained so popular and so desirable by the masses for so long.
Yeah.
Right, because I mean, you're just getting constant barrage of economic bullets.
Yeah, that's just an impressive thing to do.
It is,
just to be the leader of a certain market for so long.
For so long, yeah. Because I mean, when you're the new shiny thing, especially in this day and age, I mean, you'll be the it thing for a while, but very often doesn't take very long. Well, that's no longer the case. So to have staying power in that kind of space, I mean, I'm looking at anything. I'm not just talking about apparel or food. I'm talking about any industry. That it can be very, very challenging to maintain that kind of positioning over a long period of time. A lot of speculation. That's what's true with Lululemon now. Just a lot more competition that's out there in terms of like kind, in terms of quality, and like kind in terms of being the quote it thing unquote.
And also that makes you think, what are they going to do to step up?
Now, what are they exactly? So are they just going to take this on the chin and just keep doing what they're doing? And I'm going to talk negatively here for a minute about a particular company that I think has been slow to adapt, and that's Nike. So similar kind of space, Nike more on the footwear end of things, but obviously huge in the apparel end of things. By the way, Nike on the B-share end of things, ticker symbol Nancy Kelly Edward, not a recommendation. Buy, sell, or hold stock. I don't think Nike's done a very good job. I think that they held a uber dominant position, and in some ways they still do. But they, for whatever reasons, I think just from a management standpoint, did not keep up with the current trends.
Just haven't
they fell
been
behind.
able to come up with the
cool
marketing
the cool
strategy.
Thing. Yeah, the cool thing. I would agree with it. And, any number of reasons why it'd be the case. I'm not saying it's any one person's fault or anything like that. But, I mean, especially in footwear, I mean, they were pretty untouchable. And you can make the argument that they're still, especially with all their iterations of Jordans, that they are still very much the it thing. And I can't disagree with you. My gosh, we got Jordans everywhere, it seems like, in terms of sneaker footwear. But when I'm looking at, especially on their apparel side of things, they have lagged behind significantly. And I think that's interesting. I think it's due to competition, at least in some significant measure, not completely.
Yeah, there's a lot of competition when it comes to
Lots.
shoes.
Yeah, I mean, just a lot.
Or just apparel in general.
Yeah, I mean, my gosh, New Balances are popular now. And I have to say, and this is just because of my age, when I was a young man, because everybody loves those kind of stories. Actually, not one person likes those stories. So I'll say it. When I was a young man, New Balances were whatever the opposite of cool was. I mean, that was not the shoe that anybody who was trying to be cool. But check me on this. If you are, say, north of the age of 40, then you probably will agree with me that
I've worn New Balance before.
That's my point. So
like
you've
kindergarten?
Yeah. Well, see, okay, but I'm telling you, I mean, New Balances were not the cool thing, and they've become the cool thing. Yeah. I think it's amazing. I do. I think it's absolutely amazing. It's amazing. The whole consumer consumption end of things, whether we're talking about entertainment, whether we're talking about sports, whether we're talking about what they buy with apparel, food that they buy. I mean, I think it's very, very interesting to observe it and to observe those changes over time. I'm glad I'm not in charge of it. Gosh, I don't know what I would do, because how do you know? How do you know what's going to be the it thing next? I mean, it's practically impossible from where I sit to be able to figure that kind of stuff out. Well, folks, I appreciate so much you hanging with us here on Dollars and Cents, presented by North Main Financial, every Thursday, 4 p.m. here at WSIC, talking about economic and financial kinds of things. I sure hope that you'll tune in with us next week, again, here on Dollars and Cents, presented by North Main Financial, here on WSIC. We'll see you then.
Serving you better than ever before. WSIC, Statesville, W290DK Mooresville,